Alright, so it is time to get our fall vegetable garden going. I'm actually a little bit late this year getting our garden started. I like to go back and look at my previous year's videos. That's why I like to do these videos, just so I can look back and see the timing and how the weather and what kind of factors contributed to the past year's video. So this year we're actually several weeks late versus last year on planting our fall garden, but it's been quite warm and hot and humid. Just a couple of days ago it was 101 degrees. Today we had a cold front come through. It's about 62 degrees, almost zero humidity. It is fantastic. So I am out here. I just stopped at the local nursery and also Home Depot. Let me just give you a quick glance at what all I picked up. Since we are a little bit far behind, we're going to start with some transplants versus planting a lot of these things from seed right now. Real quick here, this is a red Russian kale. We got a few different spinach. This is a red kitten spinach. We got a couple of those. And then I got one cabbage here. This is a golden cross cabbage. Space spinach, I picked a couple of these up. I'm also going to plant some spinach by seed as well, but we picked up a couple of these. My wife wanted. This is a space spinach. This is similar to like a baby spinach you might buy in the grocery store packaging. Doesn't get that big. I picked up one Swiss chard. I got some seeds that I'm going to also plant out of Swiss chard. And some lettuces. We got several different lettuce, a butter crunch, and also we picked up a romaine. And quite a few different broccolis I picked up here. This just says broccoli. I don't know what variety that is. One here is another variety of broccoli, smaller plant. We got a red Russian kale. Also have some seeds that I'll plant for that as well. This did really well last year. This was highly recommended, red Russian kale. And of course the Dinosaur Kale, Dinosaur Kale here. And this looked very interesting in the store. I grabbed one of these. We're going to try it out and see what it is. It's a cutting celery. So it kind of looks like parsley. Has a stronger flavor than parsley. It said in the store sign. Try that. And then we got some more broccolis here. This is a green magic broccoli and a Pac-Man broccoli. This cabbage here, perfection drumhead, one of those. And all these are going to be Brussels sprouts. This is a rhubarb Brussels sprouts. This one here is Catabile, another rhubarb, and the Jade Cross, which I've grown a couple of years. That one really does very well for us. So those were the ones at the nursery. Now these, I remember going to Home Depot a few years ago. You have to catch them when they have them, but it's a much better deal if you can find Home Depot's 9-packs like I have here. So check them out if you're looking for transplants. This is a much better deal at Home Depot actually. Although they are much smaller plants, they will grow, but it's a better deal. This was a $3.48 for 9, and one of these plants at the nursery was $1.99. I did have a coupon at the local nursery, but at Home Depot, what did we pick up? This is a winter boar kale. I picked up a 9-pack of broccoli. I think it's the Pac-Man, yeah. And of course some more lettuce, romaine, and a butter crunch lettuce, and then a Brussels sprout. And then this one is a early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. And those are all 9-packs, so we've got plenty to go on here. I'm kind of downsizing for as far as our fall garden is going. Let me take y'all out to the garden and show you exactly what we got going on. Alright, so here we're out in the garden. If you've seen my previous video on our weeds in the garden, check that out. That'll help you understand what you're seeing here. As far as this goes, I've got all the grass killed pretty much. Got to get this all cleaned up, and we used a 20% vinegar solution. You know, we don't want to use any chemicals with our chickens. Of course, ranging our backyard. Here's the vinegar that I used just last weekend. Actually, this is a 21% vinegar. They recommend at least a 20% vinegar for killing grass and weeds. This is a great organic option, very safe, environmentally friendly, and does take a little bit of time to work. Highly recommend using it in a hot summertime day during the heat of the day to spray all your weeds and grass in. Right now it's about 60 degrees, and this stuff really will not work that well right now. But last weekend I put this down, and as you can see, it burned up and pretty much killed everything. So that's what we use to kill all this weeds. But let me take you over to this bed here. This is where we are going to be planting our fall garden in this small strip of area, fairly small versus our main bed, and that's what we're going to go with. I just got this all cleaned up yesterday. I've been postponing cleaning up this garden, but over here we got this is actually sweet potatoes. We'll be harvesting that probably before the first freeze, probably sometime in October, end of October, maybe even November. But we're gonna get it out of the ground right before the freeze or a frost, or directly right after a frost. So stay tuned on our sweet potato harvest, first year growing sweet potatoes. But so this is where we're going to put our fall garden in and plant all this. Now if we come over here to our main bed, as you can see, I still got quite a bit of work to do over here. This is where I'm going to plant a cover crop, nitrogen fixing cover crop. We'll get that planted, and hopefully get our soil in better condition, and then we'll be ready for spring planting as far as that goes. So there's a little bit on our main garden bed. Now I could probably plant too much for the next spring, as our baby will be born in March, and that's a prime planting time for us here locally. But as you can see here, I got this is the Malabar Spinach. It's gone all the way up the trellis and has come back down, growing back down the trellis. It's quite amazing. So that is the Malabar Spinach we have here. Quite delicious. Great for this summer growing. It's finally cooling down here, so we are in much better shape. So there's a little look at our garden as of now. Alright, so I'm out here planting these plants, and always at this Dallas nursery here, this local nursery, they have like their vegetables look like they're on steroids. I mean, look at this plant come out of this 1 4-inch pot here. They obviously fertilize in their water every time they're watering their plants here. You can see what I've got planted so far. But one thing I did want to mention is you're not going to find any nursery that I have seen here, at least locally in Dallas. Let me know if you do see a nursery that sells organically grown vegetables in a nursery. They are going to be using, of course, a most likely synthetic fertilizer every time they water their plants. So let me know in the comments below if you've ever found a organically grown transplants at a nursery here in Dallas. Maybe in other locations in the United States, I'm not sure. But as you can see, when I pulled this plant out, you can just see the roots on this sucker. So I'll just break these, loosen this up a little bit. It's root bound, and I'll plant that in the ground here. So amazing. You won't see those kind of roots on a Home Depot plant that I just picked up, that's for sure. Alright, so I got all of our transplants in the ground here. Now as far as some seeds, I'm going to throw a few seeds out here as well. I'm going to do some spinach, a few more spinach seeds. I got some Swiss chard, rainbow mix, Swiss chard there. Then also here we're going to go with some more romaine lettuce. I got some pelleted seeds. I like these. These are a lot easier to plant seeds, lettuce seeds especially because they're so small. Let me show you what they look like here. You pour them out. These seeds are pelleted, so they're quite easy to plant, as well as you don't have to come back and thin out your lettuce as much. So pelleted seeds are the way to go, I feel. And also I'm going to plant some of these carrots that are pelleted as well, so you don't have to thin them out as much either. So there's just a few of our seeds that I'm going to plant. So I'm going to get out here and get this watered in, and we'll be all set for our garden. So there's just a few of the seeds that I'm going to get also planted out here. I'm fixing to get the water turned on and get this all planted in here, and then we'll be all set. One thing I will mention is it is probably the best time to grow is in the fall. I think I've told this to y'all last year if you followed me for very long. The fall gardening I find so much easier, especially here in Dallas, Texas, where we get way above 100 degrees in the summertime. It's miserable to grow in the summer. It's hot, you got to keep it watered. Pests are a huge problem, but in the fall I have never had any problems with growing with pests. No pest problem. The weeds are minimal at most, and as well as it is cooler. I mean, what could be better than cooler? I hate working out here in a 100-degree temperature, and 60% humidity is just quite miserable. So grow some veggies in the fall if you don't do anything else. Just plant a few, you'll be surprised. It is so much easier to grow in the fall. And for us here, I got this bed here that I'm gonna be using for the fall, and these will probably be in through January or February, and they'll withstand any freeze that we most definitely have here in Dallas. But so they'll be here probably through, especially the Brussels sprouts that takes a very long time to mature. They'll be here probably at least through January and maybe even February, and by that time in January we'll be out here planting our potatoes and onions, so we can have this bed all prepped, ready to go, and this one can be winding down, and we're not going to plant nothing in here in the spring until there's no chance of freeze as far as the squash and other things that we plant over here, and pumpkins and whatnot. So there's just a quick look at what we're going to get going on for our fall garden here. Fall winter garden, I guess you could call it. This will be growing through the fall and winter. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Stay tuned. There's a lot more coming on pretty soon. We're going to be talking about our baby coming up, as well as gardening and dogs and who knows what else. So thanks for watching. Make it a great day.